Hello, I'm Glen Melville. I was born in South Africa. I lived there most of my life and I moved to Victoria 3 years ago. I started painting probably 30 years ago in South Africa, and my inspiration is mostly landscapes, farm landscapes in an area called the Karoo. And the reason I like that area is my sister has got a farm there, a sheep farm. And I've spent a lot of my life on that farm, and it's very, very old. It's a third generation farm, so it's very ancient, and the area is falling into a sort of state of disrepair as people head towards the cities, the urbanization. And so you come across many farmhouses which are beautiful in their decay. Crumbling farmhouses that some are inhabited, some are inhabited just by animals. And that has been my inspiration, to try and capture that forlorn beauty of the Karoo landscape. A typical thing of the South African landscape is, what South Africa is known for, is, especially the Karoo, is the blue skies. Very big skies, wide horizons, usually a very flat landscape, and very arid. You can see the roof of the house here. Most of the roofs in South Africa are corrugated iron, and they're all in a state of disrepair, and that's a very typical thing of my paintings, is to try and depict that decaying house, especially with the rusty roofs. The barns are also made out of corrugated iron. This house is in a similar area. This was an old sheep farm. When I found it, it was abandoned. It was still furnished, but there was no one living there. And this particular painting, the landscape was so silent, no one around. The only signs of human presence was the people in the jet, and hence the jet stream in the sky. So looking up, that was the only other human in the landscape. This painting of a place called Kolmanskop in Namibia continues the theme of beautiful decay that I enjoy. This was actually a diamond mining town. It was like a boom town of diamonds, and then when the diamonds dried up, the people left the city in droves, because there was nothing there for them. Being virtually in the desert, they had reclaimed the village from the desert, and it basically was reclaimed by the desert. It's a whole village or town of decaying, broken houses, and the sands of the desert are slowly covering the town. So one doesn't know how long the area will actually be visible, because many of the houses, just the tops of their roofs are sticking out the sand. This painting is also in the Karoo, the area that is one of my favorites, and it's of an old Chev truck that could ride no more, and eventually it broke down. It was left by its owners, because it was probably in those days it was too far to tow it into a repair shop, and it was slowly reclaimed by the landscape. It's almost like a carcass of an animal as it rots away, and the rust leaches into the soil around it, and slowly the bits of the car are falling off the car and becoming sort of one with the landscape.
Did you just discover your last trip down there, or what? Are you new here before? Oh no, but actually those were very good. Were like those realistic.
Yeah, you could almost do a little more.
And the Tom Thompson.
The littlest girl, the 4-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
In February of 2011.
Okay, I want to know that story.
And before that, were you in art as well? No, I've dabbled in art sort of, got serious about art about 12 years ago.
So, when Marion was
We were doing the
inspired.
the Oak Bay Art Studio tours each year, so people can come through your house and your studio. Yeah, yeah.
She's the youngest, she's 4. She's and the working that piece.
And
So just
Well,
a caregiver?
she has
or-
two
Maybe opening a retail
contracted
space.
caregivers.
They do well each
They
time.
pay for a year.
Oh, I love working in the studio.
So her husband has got
Constructing buildings.
We commissioned her to do a Viking ship for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, neat. Great. And how would it be mounted on the ceiling?
But they're not
You'd have an
huge.
extra high ceiling?
We'd have to